Hello and welcome to the beautiful gardens of the Eden Project.
Joining us in this earthly paradise are 8 artists ready to put their skills to the test. By the end of the day, one of them will be ascending to art heaven, heading to the promised land of the semi-final. The rest expelled from the garden.
Prepare for an artistic battle of biblical proportions. It's a brand new episode of Landscape Artist of the Year.
Of the 2,000 artists who applied for this year's competition, only 40 made it through to the famous pods.
I'm not used to it, so I feel kind of fearful and also slightly anxious.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Across a series of heats, they've had to deal with some of landscape art's big questions.
It's bloody green, but, you know, England is bloody green.
And from the bustling British seaside to iconic national landmarks, it's been a tense game of skill and tactics.
If I've completely covered the board, who's to say if it's finished or not?
Creating a completed artwork in just 4 hours.
Are you good at knowing when to stop?
No, I was hoping the bell would have been
the decision
rung
taken out of your hands.
Yeah.
The winner will be awarded a life-changing prize, a £10,000 commission for the Manchester Art Gallery to create an artwork celebrating the heritage of the northwest of England.
As always, they'll be working under the scrutiny of our 3 all-powerful judges.
If you could stop the sun moving,
OK.
that would help.
I'll have to talk to Ty. He's in charge of sun.
Also along for the ride are 50 wildcard artists, determined to impress the judges with their own artistic prowess.
Never used acrylics before.
Oh, OK. Well, no time
time.
like the present.
So who will outshine the rest to become the next Landscape Artist of the Year?
Got a window squeegee.
I use that to clean the shower.
Competing at the Eden Project today are 6 professional artists. Elizabeth Besant, Thomas McGregor, Sung Lin Hon, Stephanie Troe, Susan Isaac, and Hugh Dunford Wood.
I take it as it comes. I mean, some days you get wonderful weather, and at least it's not pissing with rain, which it could do. I was one allowed to say that.
Joining them are 2 amateurs, Paul Whitehouse and Richard Bagley.
I'm not generally an artist that takes months and months, but I don't think I've ever done anything worthwhile in 4 hours, so it'll be fun.
Until today, the judges have only seen copies of the artist's work as online submissions. Now it's time for them to come face to face with the real thing. Well, judges, these are big pictures.
They're big, and when we're looking at them digitally, we have no idea of the scale. But, you know, we love a big painting. This is a great wall.
Let's start with the railway station.
What I love about this picture is that sort of thrust you get going across the diagonals. But this artist is being clever with colour, too. I like the way they bounce us around with the orange from the crane to the jacket, and then this little tiny pop of white on the wheel of the suitcase.
Now, this looks wonderfully complicated.
I just love the way that the artist has taken nature and really, you know, turned the dial up to 11 and given us this sort of vivacious palette. It's really fun.
I think it's Mother Earth and we're in the uterus and we're going to be born down a birth canal of wood tunnel, isn't it? That's what it looks like.
You're the least qualified to know that. The next painting is hardly a painting, it's a collage with paper cut from all sorts of magazines.
If you kind of squint, you'd be forgiven for thinking this was a painting. So to go to all of these lengths to replicate what paint can do when you put interesting colours next to each other. So it's someone with a really incredible eye.
The next painting is, well, it's a big lorry with a man standing on it.
What's most interesting is the way the artist has combined very abstract shapes at the same time as a very realistically painted lorry.
It's the use of light, and I think it is buzzing, and part of that comes from this kind of red that they've used underneath, which they've deployed so carefully.
Now, this painting is really very subtle, isn't it?
It's beautiful. It's almost not a tree, and it feels poetic and sad.
Also, the format is a kind of portrait of a tree, isn't it? Sort of we're standing and the opposite is a tree, and it feels like there's a sort of another being, as it were.
This is a marvellously breezy piece of painting.
I think it's really evocative of being at the seaside. It's almost like a melting ice cream.
Yeah. Beautiful, loose bit of painting. The light is believable. It looks like a fun place to have a holiday. And then you realize there's nobody around. Then you'd wonder where everybody's gone.
The next one is deeply complex.
Well, I like how pretty it is. All this rubbed out painting and these lovely complementary colours and playing around with passages of abstraction.
But then when you go right close into the gate, it's sharp, it's angular, it's precise. That contrast really makes it work.
Now, this painting at the far end, part of a coast, but an extraordinary range of colours.
It's straight out of German expressionism. You know, expect to see a screaming man there.
That texture, particularly at the bottom, feels as if the artist is scratching into this painting as well as using the brush.
They're enormously powerful paintings today.
It's difficult when a wall is this strong in the morning. Your hopes are set very high.
Just want to get going, really, and get something down.
Artists, I hope you have everything you need to create a masterly work of art.
Paints, pencils, brushes, a beautiful view, and 4 hours in which to complete your landscape. And your time starts now. Today, we've planted our artists at the foot of the Eden Project's steeply terraced gardens, with lush planting climbing on every side.
It's a symphony of green. I mean, it's just strata upon strata upon strata of just pure nature. It's very horizontal. At the moment, there's nothing really interesting happening in the sky, so I hope the weather will change for them. They're going to have to work hard today to editorialize, to present their particular narrative, their particular snapshot through this landscape. They've got to make it work.
Today's landscape may be 50 shades of green, but one artist isn't going to let that trouble him.
The hardest point of doing a landscape is being too chained to the literal. And so I'm looking for colour in this, and it ain't going to be a green painting.
Hugh Dunford-Wood is a professional artist from Dorset. His submission, a view of an ancient woodland path near his home, took him 3 hours to complete. Hugh, your submission was full of vibrant colour, purples, strong greens.
Yes.
That are not really found in nature that vividly.
No, they're not. Well, they're not found in English nature. No. I lived in Brazil, in Tahiti, and in these places you find colour in shadow. I will persuade you that that's not green up there.
I could learn to look a different way.
Well, yes, I'm not making things up. It's there. It just needs teasing out.
I paint with collage, is how I describe myself. My landscapes are based on my relationship with Woman's Weekly magazine. My grandmother, she knitted all the clothes from there, made the cakes. It's taken 60 years before I suddenly discovered that I could chart my social history just through this one magazine.
Elizabeth Besant is an artist and fashion designer from London. Her landscape collage, entitled It's Not What It Seems, features hills of grapes, roast beef mountains, and a carpet for a field.
Elizabeth, why are you using these particular magazines to make your collages?
Originally, it was the quality, it was the cheapness of the paper, which tore beautifully, and the poor quality inks. But while I'm thinking about doing my landscape, I'm not actually thinking in terms of sky, trees, flowers. I'm feeling an emotional connection all the time.
And how do you feel about the view that you've been presented with?
I don't see the landscape. I straight away saw a row of runner beans. And in this bundle here, I have all sorts of exciting things like spring onions and celery, watercress,
And how are you going to deal with all these amazing daisies? I mean, this is like a cacophony, a little sea at the beginning
it says, to me, it says flowery summer dress, it says bedspread, it says curtains.
I love the way that you see the world.
With just 4 hours to complete their artworks, many of the artists are having to figure out ways of adapting their technique, and some are hedging their bets.
My normal style, I would say there's a lot of layers, there's a lot of process involved. So either I work really quickly and maybe do 2 or 3 different paintings, or if the one starts to work, then I will just, that will have to work. I don't know.
Thomas McGregor is a professional artist and horticultural therapist from London. His submission, a view of a truck stop in Bolivia, was created using thick layers of oil paint over his signature rich red underpainting.
Can I start by saying those are the oddest colours to be starting with? There's no red in the landscape.
Oh, well, I would say there is some red.
Oh, okay.
And it is actually also more to do with the texture of the paint I'm using as well. This is just a household emulsion that I've mixed with pigment. When I start to build up with some oil, you start to get a variation in the texture. I'm going to start using this canvas, also working on the 2 at the same time, just to let that dry. And it also allows just a nice thick build-up of the paint.
Playing with it and fighting against it is an important part of picture making.
Yes.
It's just nice to see it in action.
Yes.
I'll let you get on with it, Thomas.
Okay. Thank you.
Our 8 pod artists aren't the only ones finding artistic inspiration here at the Eden Project today. Hidden away amidst the terraced gardens are 50 more artists hoping to impress the judges. And as always, these wildcards are ready for anything.
I don't really need this much stuff, but it's comfort.
I have a raincoat, a sun hat, an umbrella, and another umbrella.
I don't normally carry a suitcase when I go sketching. I just made sure that I had everything I needed for today.
Today's wildcards are all competing for just one wildcard place at this year's semi-final.
Alexander, have you got a gift wrapping service going? What's happening?
I've got chocolate, and that's the most important thing. So as long as chocolate and coffee, I'm absolutely fine.
You've got acrylics and you've got scissors.
I've never used acrylics before.
Oh, OK. Well, no time like the present. no time like when the cameras are watching.
Meanwhile, back at the foot of the gardens, our pod artists are wrestling with the compositional challenges of today's view.
I look for the structure in the view, so I'm really looking for shapes and bold features that I can tease out. I've been concentrating on the lines of the hedges, the line of the hillside, and part of the pod as well, which makes an angle in the opposite direction. It's like scaffolding to hang the paint on.
Paul Whitehouse is a retired scientist from Oxfordshire. His submission, an intense study of 2 lonely figures on a railway station platform, took him a week to complete.
One of the things I loved about your submission, Paul, were the fantastic diagonals you'd got. And looking at this, I can see you've also found a similar tension in the diagonals.
Yeah, the pod is also quite useful, I think.
So you're looking for not just nature, you need something more man-made?
Yes, too much softness is sort of, I get a little bit lost, so I like to have something hard to hang things on.
When you look at a view like this, do you start by going, OK, where are my anchors that get the eye moving across the painting?
Not really, because you can always cheat a little bit and place the anchor. There's a poppy, that might go in.
OK.
I'm just thinking that through at the moment.
OK, well, what do you want? I'll go and have a word, put an order in.
Yeah, if you could stop the sun moving,
OK.
that would help.
I'll have to talk to Ty, he's in charge of sun.
The artists are now 1 hour in and are finding creative strategies to deal with the challenges of today's view.
I'm a pretty fast worker, so I'll just let rip with a few strikes of acrylic, then go in with pastels. There ain't much green, but that's not really my colour.
It's going OK, I think. I've got 2 paintings on the go. I'm kind of filling the canvas at the moment, so yeah, it's quite a few brushes. It's quite a lot of paint.
I normally would take a lot longer on a collage, but if I've completely covered the board, who's to say if it's finished or not? Older and wiser, you learn the tricks.
In the gardens of Cornwall's Eden project, 8 artists are 1 hour into their landscape challenge. But one artist has planted a little extra something in his view.
Hi, Richard. Can I come and have a chat?
Yeah, not that. Sorry, that's part of my painting, believe it or not.
Richard Bagley is a graphic designer from Lincolnshire. His submission, which depicts a deserted beach with a row of empty fishermen's huts, was painted whilst on holiday in Portugal with his family.
In my submission, the thing that really drew me to it were the chairs, the empty chairs, and the story to me that brought the painting to life. Have they just been sitting there before they go fishing? Are they going to come back? You know, and from that point on, I've been a little bit obsessed with it.
OK, with chairs?
Yeah.
How's your relationship with chairs been today? I heard you sat on your palette.
I did sit on
Can
my
I
palette.
look? Can I see?
Luckily, it wasn't brown paint, but yeah, there you go.
Oh, OK, yeah, good.
Yeah. So that was kind of blind panic and a chair malfunction. It was weird, you know, but as soon as I put the chair in, I calmed down.
OK, good.
And Richard isn't the only artist who's taken a fancy to the Landscape Artist of the Year furniture.
Susan, I was about to pull up the chair and take a seat, but then I realised I might be ruining your setup because the chair's in your work.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Susan Isaac is a professional artist from Nottinghamshire. Her dramatic landscape of a Yorkshire coastal village focused on the steep angle of a slipway stretching up onto the beach.
Quite like having strong formal elements in the foreground. The uprights of the chair are kind of reflected in the shape of the pod uprights. I thought that would make quite a neat tension with the background.
Your work looks like it has a brevity to it, but I know that it's probably not necessarily quick to make.
But my process will be about putting layers into the composition and pulling and pushing different elements and textures.
Good. Well, I'm enjoying seeing the chair. They are our lovely landscape chairs, and I think they deserve a
starring role.
I think they. Why not?
So, Ty, here we are in the Garden of Eden. What's the snake in the grass for these artists? What do they have to watch out for? I mean, right behind them are some of the most interesting architectural structures in the world, but you've pointed them at the green wall.
It's pure landscape in a sense, isn't it? And I think we were hoping, as it's summer and we're in Cornwall, that the sun would help us.
Right.
In creating some contrast in there.
Yes, because there is no definition. How much fun is that to paint?
I don't know. Are they here for the fun?
Well, I am.
It is a wall of green, but there are variations of the green, and there are points of interest.
I mean, if you paint landscapes, you've got to wrestle with green. There's no getting away from it.
Yeah, but, you know, there are different ways of making green other than squeezing it out of a tube. And it's just pushed them into a situation where they've had to rely on other things. So this is a starting point.
The rest is up to them.
Yeah. Stephanie, now I know from your submission, the beautiful surfaces you get, they come about from putting stuff on and taking it off. Is this how you work?
I kind of layer it up. Sometimes I'll then get a squeegee and just smear, like removing the paint, almost destroying the image, and then I'll work over it again.
Stephanie Troe is a professional artist from Manchester. Her submission, an impressionistic depiction of her local park, was created by applying and removing layers of oil paint.
In a sense, when you're putting paint on and then taking it off again, you're mixing it in that sort of destruction of it.
Yeah.
So is a lot of your painting happy accident?
I like them little elements of happy accident, yeah. The idea of being out of control and destroying and creating something at the same time.
Do you then become realistic to tie it down, or is it all accident?
No, I like to tie it in with like colour and then some detail.
So those bright colours in the green, they're sort of kicking against the green.
Yeah, that's what I want, yeah, because
Okay.
of all the green, you need something to break it up,
Yeah.
I think.
It's looking really fun and exciting. I'll let you get on with it.
Thank you.
As always, today's wildcard artists are as innovative with their tools as with their techniques.
I'm very taken with your paintbrush. Looks like about 1 metre long. What's going on?
Yes, it's bamboo from my garden.
Right.
And
Some tape.
just taped one thick brush at one end.
Yeah.
And a thin brush at the other end. It gives like looser strokes.
Okay.
So you're freer and you get bigger, more expressive marks.
Well, we like wild cards experimenting, and long may it continue. 1 metre brushes, fine.
It's a very interesting colour palette you have. It's very atmospheric.
I love colour, but
Are you sure?
yeah.
This is unusual.
Yes.
But it's unusual for a very unusual reason.
Well, I work for a window company and they were taking all the old timber windows out of the houses. So I decided to take them off their hands and started painting on them.
Well done for thinking of it. That's great.
On the other side of the gardens, our 8 pod artists are continuing with their challenge. And faced with the mass of green, one artist has decided to abandon colour altogether.
So, Lynn, this looks absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
I really love it. What's going to happen is that everything going to go grey.
Yes, the brown layer is just my
Okay.
underpainting layer. So it gives me a guideline
to
decide which the darker area is going to be and then where's the highlights are going to go.
Malaysian artist Sung Lin Hon has just graduated in fine art from Leeds Arts University. Her submission, entitled Meditation, is a monochrome study of a lone tree painted in oils.
Black and white gives me a simpler effect on the light and shadow. I don't want the color to be the distraction of the painting itself.
I can see you're putting the grey wash over. How do you make the dark stand out?
I put different tones of grey, just like put the colors onto the surface, then I brush them out. I'm trying to blend it. So it gives like a dreamland mood, which is like really calm.
Well, although I will be sorry to see the brown go, I will welcome the grey.
Thank you.
The artists have been painting for 2 hours and are at the halfway point of today's challenge. And for some, there's trouble in paradise.
This foreground here is difficult. It's not working, and I don't know why at the moment. I'm going to have a cup of tea, I'm going to have a think, and not rush into something.
Just slightly worried. I'll create a dog's dinner, but who knows, it might be something a little bit more elegant.
Time just evaporates, so yeah, I'd like to be another probably hour ahead. Let's hope I speed up a little bit.
At Cornwall's Eden project, 8 artists are halfway through their 4-hour challenge to create an artwork of the terraced gardens, a task that's clearly taken a lot of creative energy.
During lunchtime, I laid out for 5–10 minutes and just centered myself. So I'm happy. I'm on the way.
I made the mistake before I came here of saying, no, I've never worked en plein air, but surely it's the same as being in a studio. Well, I've spent most of the day chasing my paper, so when you get a bill for littering Eden, you'll know who did it.
As always, the judges have been watching the artists' every move all morning. So who is managing to fight their way through the green, and who is getting lost in the undergrowth?
More than one artist has admitted to me that when they heard they were going to be painting in the Eden Project, they gave a great deal of thought to the domes. They don't have domes, they have a lot of green, but to compensate for the green, a lot of them are bringing in other objects to provide a bit of... There's chairs, there's the edges of the pods.
I mean, that is an interesting point, where we've taken away the main subject matter and given them something quite neutral and quite difficult. It gives them space to express themselves.
Elizabeth, giving us more of her collage-y goodness, fruit and veg, 5 a day.
What's interesting to me is that more than I expected, this piece is about her. It's about, like, her social history. So she grew up with these magazines around her. She's presenting this landscape to us, but it's very much through the prism of her lived experience.
Thomas is working on 2 paintings. He's flip-flopping between the 2. I presume to give himself a fresh look at each one each time?
It's partly that, but it's also about practicalities. He's waiting for things to dry so that he can work into the oil on top.
There's a certain density to his paint, which is sort of the same on each canvas. Maybe it's the underpainting, and that we'll get to more finessing and more sort of differences and subtleties. But at the moment, I think he is struggling.
Richard, he's put a black plastic, ugly chair right in the foreground. Does that work?
I think the problem for me is not really the introduction of the chair, it's just the way that it doesn't seem to exist in a real space. It just sort of smacks up against the viewer. So at the moment, it feels like too much of an interruption. You kind of trip up into it.
We're 2 hours in, and Sung Lin has given us her grey, black... Is it a background?
Yeah, Sung Lin gave us a really, really beautiful brown wash underneath at the very beginning. And I loved it. And I was really quite sad to see the grey going on. But she uses that brown wash and the density of the darkness of the colours to slowly make that grey sing.
I look at Stephanie's work, and I find it quite disturbing, actually. It's like it's jumping.
I just like the way Stephanie puts paint down. I mean, we saw it in the submission. There was that scraping and the finding and making of accidents and layering. But there is a great sense of colour and light. It just needs to become something else now.
Hugh's giving us something really colourful. Is it what we're looking at?
It doesn't feel colour for the sake of it. It feels like colour that means something to him. So for me, it's a great expressive landscape.
He's done something almost like a convex mirror. It's like he's bent the view in some way to his own will, and he's bent all the colours to his own will as well.
Susan tells me her painting is in the dog's breakfast stage. Do you think it'll be edible by the end of the day?
Susan's really admirable because she's struggled with what was in front of her, so decided to almost turn those problems into an artistic solution in the sense that she's introduced the chair, she's introduced the pod. However, it is a bit too messy at the moment.
Paul, is Paul being too literal?
Yeah, I think he's been quite clever, Paul, because he's given us the same diagonal lines that were in his submission, so he's had to come up with something to anchor it, and I think that was intelligent. I mean, it is very much what's in front of him. Maybe he needs the detail of the daisies to bring it to life a bit.
So there's a lot of work yet to be done this afternoon by our artists. Some of them need to turn it around, others showing great promise.
I think we can have some really surprising works, yeah.
The artists today are at the very centre of the Eden Project. This global garden is a model of biodiversity. The enormous tropical and Mediterranean biomes provide a storehouse for thousands of plant species. Ensuring the hot and humid conditions to allow these plants to thrive is an energy-intensive endeavour.
Eden is powered by green electricity and natural gas off the grid. It uses quite a lot of both because heating a rainforest is not easy.
Dedicated to becoming entirely carbon neutral, Eden has now begun a literally groundbreaking venture, drilling into the granite bedrock to source its power through geothermal energy.
Geothermal energy is the heat in the ground beneath our feet. If you drill down towards the centre of the Earth, it gets hotter and hotter. And in some places, it gets hotter quicker. And one of those places is Cornwall. If you go down to 4.5 kilometres, we're going to get temperatures of around 200 degrees C. That means we can put cold water down, heat it to 200 degrees. That can come back up and be converted into electricity and direct heating. The Eden Project really is a place where impossible things happen. You can take an old quarry and grow a rainforest in it. And now we are taking the heat from the centre of the Earth and getting Eden off gas and off electricity.
Back on the surface, our artists are also digging deep as they harness their own creative energy.
Song Lin, that is very beautiful. I see it as a slope and I see the flowers, but it is an interpretation of that, isn't it?
So I take the part of the daisies from this side, and then the slope and the trees are from that side.
I see. So it really is, you've picked what you needed to make a painting that you want.
Yes.
I think I've ended up focusing on this one. I'm stopping a moment and have another go on the other one. Which one is working better? I don't know.
You've got a fantastic angle that you've chosen there, looking down on that chair. I mean, it's quite disconcerting in a way.
I like that business of you being in the painting, you know, as close as possible, so you're sort of tipped into the view.
Yeah, I mean, I feel I could sit in that chair.
Okay, well, maybe you could be involved in
I
this.
better not, because I'll get my clothes all mucky.
Just up the slope from the pods, our industrious wildcards have also been hard at work all day.
There's a lot of different foliage and there's different densities and different rhythms.
I try and get a bit of difference because I think it helps the eye move around.
Okay. I mean, that's a lot of work in one day and it's looking very good.
Thank you very much.
I may have to do some last minute, just more splatters really, just lots and lots of flowers. A lady just said to me, can you have too many flowers? And I said no. So that's what I'm going for.
With the chance of one place in the semi-final on offer, which of today's wildcards has impressed the judges?
Do we feel like we should award it to someone who manages to get a good job with the biomes? They are tricky.
It was difficult. I mean, it was a very idyllic spot to be doing, you know, being a wild card under the canopy of trees, but then you had to sit down to see through to see the biome. And some of them dealt with it, and others refused to deal with it.
I'm quite charmed by the woman working on the windows. Lovely.
And then there's a woman in black dungarees.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
gone up close to the biomes.
They look very futuristic in her hands.
And there's a
I
nice
like
touch
that.
the painter's put on, rather lovely, yeah.
I'm going to go with futuristic dome.
I'm going to do it based on the one that I want to take home. I don't have to go much further because you are our wild card winner today. We absolutely loved what you did with the biomes. You really took them on, but you translated them into something that was a little bit futuristic, and then when you actually got into the vegetation, you took it to another level altogether.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very well. Yesterday, a seagull pooed on me, and I think it was lucky. I can't believe I'm the wildcard winner. I'm just astounded. Kathleen's comments, just from a judge, is just so wonderful. A big glass of champagne to celebrate, I think.
Kirsten Ellswood from Penzance will enter a pool of wildcard winners from all the heats. One will be chosen to compete in the semi-final.
Back in the main competition, our artists are entering the final hour of their challenge. And in one of the pods, it's time to bring in the knitwear.
There's quite a lot of lavendery colours coming through here,
Yes,
so I
I think
found
so.
a nice little cardie to go through there.
That's a cardigan.
Yeah.
Well, you would never believe it.
I thought, hang on a minute, I better get some peas in.
Where are the frozen peas out there?
Well, the frozen peas are the textures of these bushes starting to fall down here.
Yes, I see.
Now I'm working with oils, yeah, and just not to push it too much. It's finding that right balance, I think. Just don't want to overwork it.
Now the sun's really strong, so there are some quite nice deep shadows, trying to kind of get those in, trying to get it to pop a bit more, because obviously this is the time you don't want to completely destroy it.
Here at the Eden Project, 8 artists are nearing the end of their day's landscape challenge, with just minutes left to complete their artworks. Do you know there's one red poppy over there?
Yes, I've just started working in a little bit of the detail just to bring it to life, and that poppy will probably go in. It will now.
It will.
Yeah.
Good.
I've ended up with 2 paintings that do the same thing. I'm going to make a decision, but I haven't done yet.
Artist, you have 1 minute left.
To be honest, I'm happy. I've covered the canvas. It'd be nice to just go, whew.
Artists, your time is up.
Please stop work and step away from your easels. It's finally time for the artists to relax, whilst the judges take a closer look at the final artworks.
I mean, I don't know if we've ever had a day where the artists have really pushed so hard and fought so hard to make something inventive and particularly of their own. Elizabeth's work has just got such a magnificently retro quality to it, hasn't it?
But what is remarkable, in the tearing of the paper, your eye can travel through the landscape and there's real space to travel through.
Yeah.
It's not just an impression of it.
Yeah, and quite honestly, I mean, it looks like a painting, and you wouldn't know it was paper. With Thomas, I feel like I'm looking at an oil sketch. This is rough and ready. It doesn't reach the edges of the canvas, but you've still got that lovely sense of texture.
I think Thomas puts paint down in a really exciting way. The green in his hands does all sorts of rhythmic and interesting things. Fantastic to look at.
Richard was one of our artists today who sort of had to find something that was man-made, so, you know, we have the chair. I think the problem for me is the scale of it in comparison to the rest of the work, and I feel like I'm looking at a painting of two halves.
Sung Lin just made such an intelligent choice today. I sort of feel the green in a strange way. I know what I'm looking at is kind of ripe and full of life, even though it's totally monochromatic. It's clever.
I think Sung Lin's editing of the landscape is very interesting. She wanted a certain look for the paintings. It doesn't feel like the bowl I'm standing in today.
Whereas Stephanie, she's about what she's seeing, and she wants to depict it in that spontaneous capturing of the moment that we saw the Impressionists do.
I love Stephanie's mark making. She's worked and she's put stuff over the top and she's scraped it off, and she's arrived by beautiful accidents at this reproduction of the hill in front of us.
What I love about Hugh's work, I like the fact that he's gone convex, and I do feel immersed in the bowl within this sort of all-surrounding nature.
There's something about all of this bright colour and all of this detail and some of the tightness of it that is not as enjoyable as his submission, which had a slightly looser aspect to it.
I love Susan's mark making. There's a kind of vitality to it, and it's not pretty at all, but it is enticing in an unusual way.
To be able to do this in this little scrubby corner of her pod is very intelligent. You know, I think I want art that transports me and that tells me a story, and this certainly does.
You know what Paul's really good at is getting the eye to bounce around. He's also used that framework for the side of the pod that takes you whoosh straight way up. It's a bit like being a pinball in his paintings, actually.
But there was something he found in his submission which was quirky and human, and I don't know that the pod and the hedge do quite enough for me.
The judges can only pick one artist to send through to the semi-final, but first they select a shortlist of 3.
I mean, I love these two here together.
This one is really strong.
I think this artist has done very well today. It's interesting to look at.
OK, so we're thinking here,
Yes.
here and here?
Yep.
Artists, thank you for all the wonderful creations you've made today. The moment has come to reveal which 3 artists the judges have decided will make the shortlist.
The first artist is Thomas McGregor.
The second artist is Stephanie Troe.
The third artist is Susan Isaac.
sympathies to the rest of you. We've really enjoyed the work you've done today, each one of you. With only one place in the semi-final up for grabs, the judges now take another look at the submitted works of the 3 shortlisted artists. Well, judges, we knew when we looked at the wall this morning that you had a vigorous series of artists, and you've got a very vigorous shortlist.
We have, and all artists who've stayed very true to their palette and to their artistic principles, I think.
So, Thomas, what have you learnt about him in his painting today?
Well, I'm really thrilled that Thomas has managed to find a way of painting that works on a sort of one-day basis, because narrative, the composition, the detail, he can't do that on a day like today. And so he's just started making these very gestural, quite abstract, almost sculptural marks.
And today he's revelled in the mark making, and he's shown us what a great painter is. I mean, with the stuff of paint.
So, Stephanie, I mean, the first thing you notice is they could be a part of a series of paintings, these two.
Yes.
They're so similar.
She takes us upwards in the submission towards that sort of closed gate. But in the landscape today, she's found that similar sense of journey through this landscape up to those bright pink blobs.
The way she makes marks, the way she produces something that has volume and space, is all about sort of happy accidents and layering paint. And it's exciting to look at. And it gives us a sense of the light and the slope she was confronted with.
Susan, I love Susan's paintings, but they give me a sense of vertigo because we're looking down and up at the same time. It makes me almost want to fall over.
Yeah, she's very clever at conjuring a kind of claustrophobia. Yeah, you're right, Stephen. When you look at the work, these are not invitations, these paintings, are they? They're almost like warnings.
I understand that sense of being captured within the pod, looking down at her painting the whole day. And she gets the anxiety in with that curve of the hedges in the background, in the same way that we get the anxiety in the submission with the orange sky.
I think I'm going to cry. Thomas, Stephanie, and Susan, to get to this point is an achievement in itself, but one of you will be joining us again at the semi-final.
The artists the judges have selected is Thomas McGregor.
Feel good. I'm a little bit in shock. Words escape me. Right up until the last minute, I was still deciding between the two. I mean, what would have happened if I'd chosen the other one? I don't know.
Thomas is our winner today because he's a brilliant painter. When you look at the marks themselves against that, you know, his signature red background, there's an abstract, yummy quality and a sense of the artist at play. And when you step back, you get the sense of being here today. You are transported. So in the semi-final, I want to see him tap into that language, stick his neck out a bit, and give us something great.
I feel good about doing it all again. I'm going to go back to the easel and get some practice in.